Well, two bills related to transgender students in California died in committee today after a majority of Assembly members rejected the proposed legislation. ABC 10's Becca Hobecker joins us in studio now. And Becca, these have to do with trans athletes on sports teams and much more. Kind of break it down for us.
Yeah, one bill aimed narrowly to ban transgender girls from high school girls sports teams. Now, the other one was more broad. It aimed to ensure students in both K-12 and higher education participate on sports teams, use bathrooms and locker rooms, and have overnight accommodations, including dorm rooms, that correspond with their sex assigned at birth. Now, those two Republican bills died, but the lawmakers say their fight is far from over.
Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
On Tuesday morning, members of the California State Assembly Committee on Arts, Entertainment, Sports, and Tourism heard two bills. AB 89, introduced by Republican Assemblymember Kate Sanchez, had to do with the California Interscholastic Federation, CIF, which governs high school sports in the state. Currently, and for a little over a decade now, California law says a student is allowed to participate on athletic teams and competitions and use facilities consistent with his or her gender identity, irrespective of the gender listed on the pupil's records. And CIF has told ABC 10 it follows state law. AB 89 aimed to require the CIF to prohibit a pupil whose sex was assigned male at birth from participating on a girls' interscholastic sports team.
It's about playing on the hate and fear of transgender people, one of our most marginalized community.
The bill sparked nearly 2 hours of heated debate and public comment.
AB 89 is about protecting women. Full stop, and that's it.
Ultimately, AB 89 was rejected in a party line vote.
This is item number 2 on our agenda.
AB 844, introduced by Republican Assemblymember Bill Asaley, would require that a student's participation in sex-segregated school programs, activities, and sports, and use of facilities including bathrooms, locker rooms, showers, overnight accommodations, and, at the college level, student housing, be based upon a student's sex assigned at birth.
Biological males do not belong in girls' and women's sports.
My name is Sophia Usher. On behalf of the trans youth of California and Sacramento, I strongly oppose this bill.
After more than an hour of debate and public comment, this bill also failed along party lines. After the hearing, Assembly Republicans held a news conference and said their fight is not over. They said they haven't ruled out a ballot initiative bringing the issue directly to voters.
What we've seen in the polling is this is where Californians are. They do think that this policy has reached an absurdity.
They say California's law and policies allowing trans girls and women on female sports teams violates Title IX, a federal law that prohibits sex discrimination in education programs that receive federal funding, arguing that trans girls and women have an unfair biological advantage. So I brought that question to Democratic Assemblymember Chris Ward, who chairs the committee that rejected the two bills.
No, actually, we asked attorneys today whether or not existing California law is in compliance with Title IX, and it is. In fact, there are court cases out there in West Virginia, of all places, that have bans on transgender youth in a variety of contexts, which are stayed at the state level because those courts have agreed that Title IX has been violated by those kinds of bans.
We should note the Trump administration has threatened to stop federal funding to states and institutions that allow trans girls and women to play on female sports teams. So I asked Assemblymember Ward whether he's concerned today's votes could jeopardize federal funding. He said California is already facing funding threats from the Trump administration for this and a variety of other reasons, and that while he'd like to cooperate with the federal government when possible, Ward says California Democrats shouldn't compromise on their values. Alex?
Becca, thank you.